When somebody usually gives their heart to the Lord, the first thing we tell them, just read the book of John. And I've had some of them that come and I said, you just, where to go from there? Just stay in John. And that's one of the best readings there is and learnings that you can have is what John has. In the 6th chapter, it says, verse 47-8 said, Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me hath everlasting life. He said, I am the bread of life. We read that and said, he says, I am the bread of life. What is he actually saying? It's bread in Hebrew is the word sustain, or it's manna. Do you remember the children of Israel out in the wilderness for 40 years? God sustained them. He took care of them. And that's what he's telling here. He said, he that believeth on me have everlasting life, said, I will sustain them. I will take care of them. I will feed them. I will water them. Whatever the need is, I will take care of. This is what God is trying to tell his people. All you have to do is believe on me and put your trust in me, and everything's going to be provided. Sometimes it may not look like it on the table, but God said he will take care of you. All it takes is to believe on him. And he said, I am that bread of life. Whatever you need, he's going to take care of. Secondly, in St. John 8:12 said, I am the light of the world, and he that believeth, he that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but have light, the light of life. I went to the concordance, and it says there's 4 kinds of light. One is cosmic, the other is natural, the third is miraculous, the fourth is artificial. Lord, there's 4 different kinds of light. But when God gets a hold of us, it can be wisdom. He can give us wisdom. He can give us knowledge. He can give us truth. He can give us understanding. And he sets... Have you ever been reading something in his word and not know what you're reading? And then all of a sudden, like a light bulb up here, or am I the only one that has ever just been sitting there reading? Wow, I didn't understand that. So that's what he does. He enlightens us in every situation, but we need to put our faith, our trust, our belief in him that he's able to do this. Somebody said, well, I know he's able, but forget about the buts. Forget about them. He said, I am the light. I will enlighten you. Whatever is standing before you, I'll take care of. All we have to do is believe it. That's what his word says. Thirdly, in St. John 10:9, he said, I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved and shall go in and out and find pasture. I had this written down or typed in, and I was on my bed the other night, and I was thinking about the door. What is a door? The door is an entrance. What he's telling us this morning in his word, he said, I am the entrance to the kingdom of God. He's saying, I am the door. When you walked in this building, you walked through a door. And where did you go when you opened that door? You came inside. And Jesus is saying, I am the door. Just open the door and enter the kingdom. Now, a lot of people don't believe this, but that's what he's telling us. When we open the door and enter therein, we're there. And what is in the kingdom? Whatever you need. Whatever you desire. Your heart's desire is there. Sometimes we don't understand everything God has for us, but if you'll stop in every situation that you've had the past year or two, or maybe even 10, ever how long you've been serving the Lord, you can see where God is in each one of these steps. Now, some people can get so interested in making money that they forget about God. Once you forget about God, you can lose everything you had. Some people are interested in other things, alcohol. They're not even interested in God. They have other desires and are looking after them. And you invite people to church sometimes and they're not interested in coming to the house of the Lord. But if they'll just understand that what he's saying about being the door and entering therein, I'll tell you what, when I was younger, and I didn't understand all this, but God began to reveal some of these things to me. And I see things now that I didn't used to see. I understand things that I didn't used to understand. Why? Because he said, seek first, what? The kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. What things is he talking about? Whatever, anything, desires, whatever it is you have need of, God will take care of. But we've got to learn to put our faith and trust and belief in him. And understand that as we do, that him being the door or the way in, and how do you get there? You walk, he said, I am the door. He said anything, and he said anything that you ask in my name, he said, I will do it. The verse right on top of that said, whatsoever you ask of the Father in my name, said he will give it to you. He through me, but you go through him. And the secret is the power and the authority that God has given us in this word, that we can put our faith, trust, and belief in him, that he'll give us our heart's desire. That's what he's saying. I'll give you anything. Just make sure that you're not being selfish. You want something that God doesn't want you to have. Make sure that what you want is something that God would be pleased in. But he will give us. Just open the door. You go to get in your car. You can't get in the car without opening the door, can you? Barbara's got one of those little cars that you doesn't take a key, but you have to have a key to get inside if she got it locked. But if it's not locked, you can get in and sit down in it, and you can push the button and nothing happens. But when you get the key, a little bitty key that she has, it doesn't even look like a key. It looks like a little square, about a little rectangle, about that thick. Doesn't amount to anything. But you Can't move that car without it. That's what the way it is with the Lord. There's a secret or a key to the kingdom, and Jesus is that key. He said, I'm the door. You can open the door with that key, and that key is the name Jesus. Can we all understand by that we can open the door, get into the kingdom of heaven, and that door opens when we call on His name? What's my favorite saying? What a God that is that we serve. Some of you will agree with it, some of you won't. And then he goes on in John 10 and 11, he said, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep, which we know that he did. And then in verse 14, he said, I am the good shepherd. And I said, I know my sheep, and they know my voice. How many of you recognize the voice of your dad? You remember on radio, some of you are way too young to this, but there used to be a program on, and I think it was his mother would holler, Henry! And Henry didn't show up. Henry! Henry, where are you? Your mother ever say something like that to you? Sure. Recently, in Terre Haute, there was a little girl, 8 years old, that left her father's house, and they couldn't find her. And as they were looking for her, when they finally found her, she was hid in her stepmother and dad's house. One thing said under the bed, one said behind the bed.